Form is unknown here in the world. Unknown are its end, its beginning, its extent. Cut down this tree that has such deep roots with a sharp axe of detachment. So, this tree of life is it's not really known. We don't know where it begins, where it began. We don't know how far it's gonna go. But we know this, that if we take an axe of detachment, of indifference towards it, which is kind of weird because it would say in detachment from the world. Well, I think that's what like asceticism. Yeah. So we take our aesthetic quality and cut out the tree of our life. You know, when we don't have we're no more attached to our life or living. We're more detached from existence. That's what cuts out the tree of life. Then search to find the realm that one enters without returning. I seek refuge in the original spirit of man, from which primordial activity extended. So, this is like a recipe to get into a Buddhahood. First, we gotta get detached from our world. You know, everybody got their own individual, personal world that they live in, and first we gotta get away from it and leave all our desires towards going back. And then, after we got detached from the ordinary life, ordinary desires, ordinary things, then when we are alone, we are to look for something underneath our personal egos, something that's deep underneath ourselves. That is something that's primordial, before existence, before that, out of which all actions came out of, the source. Without pride or delusion, the fault of attachment overcome, intent on the self within, their desires extinguished, freed from dualities, from joy and suffering, undiluted man reach that realm beyond change. So, without being proud, as in, hey, look at me, look what I can do, and without and by not being, thinking too much of yourself, like, I am a god, I am this, I am that, without over exaggerating yourself. The our attachments can be overcome. Our attachments can be cut, and we would become not attached to worldly things. And only if there is no pride or delusion that, if we are attached to worldly things, we're attached to something, and we think to ourselves, oh, look at me, I'm not attached to anything, and then your kitty dies, and you feel really sad. Which is, it's like, I think that it's so good to be a human being. I read this, man, and I'm like, I don't know if me, myself, and I, if I want this state of mind that Krishna talks about, because I'm not really, I'm not really a man of desire, but I really do enjoy worldly life, and I love being a human being. And up here, it's like disband all your humanity, just throw it away. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. So let's read on a little farther. Well, when the person gets to overcome all his or her attachments, and then the person concentrates self upon self, mind upon mind, with no real desire to get anywhere or get anything, and the person gets freed from seeing perceiver and perceived as dualistic, as because person starts seeing perceiver as perceived, so abiding in a state of non-duality. A person who does not desire joy or shun away from pain, person that is not deceived by anything, that person can reach a place of mind that has no change, that doesn't fluctuate from up to down, does not go into a circle of samsara, of suffering. Neither sun nor moon nor fire illumines. Neither sun nor moon nor fire illumines my highest abode. Once there, they do not return. So nothing is higher. Nothing is higher than the highest essence of God. The essence, the seed. Once people enter the seed, there's such pitch. Nothing. There's such deep purity in it that nothing can change it. Absolutely nothing. Such as, like, for example, you know how they say a room that has been dark without light for a million, gillion, jillion years can be lit up with just one match. Well, in the highest of the highest, even a match will not light it up, because it's so pure, it's so unchanging. A fragment of me in the living world is the timeless essence of life. It draws out the senses and the mind inherent in nature. So a particle, a fragment of this, what we can call God, in this ordinary world, is the essence of life. Self, Jah, I, will. You look inside yourself, can you feel inside of your life? Life, you're alive, this there. That is an essence of God. This is a particle of God. That is godly particle inside of you and inside all life out there. It it makes us feel and think and be. When the Lord takes on a body and then leaves it, he carries these along like the wind bearing scents from earth. So when the person picks up the body, he has these feelings, thoughts, awarenesses. Then the person dies, and those feelings, thoughts, awareness, they still remain. So they enter a different body and abide in that body, and new thoughts and feelings and awarenesses arise in that body, but they still the old ones are still there too. Governing hearing, sight, touch, taste, smell, and thought, he savors objects of the senses. So we're really attached to our senses. We really like them. We don't want to lose them. We take pleasure in them. So we rule them. We don't mind them. We want them. Deluded men do not perceive him in departure or presence or enjoyment of nature's qualities, but the eyes of knowledge see him. Wait a minute. We're not talking about just ordinary people. See, up here in the 8th verse, it said when the Lord takes on a body and then leaves it. I read it as like an ordinary person, but I'm not sure what it means here. I think well, let's read on, and maybe I'll come up with a better explanation than what it's in my mind, because right now in my mind I got scrambled eggs. But let me read this again. When the Lord takes on a body and then leaves it, he carries these along like the wind bearing scents from earth. Governing hearing, sight, touch, taste, smell, and thought, he savors objects of the senses. Deluded men do not perceive him in departure or presence, or enjoyment of nature qualities, but the eyes of knowledge see him. I'll go on a little farther. Men of discipline who strive see him present with men of discipline who strive see him present within themselves, but without self-mastery and reason, even those who strive fail to see. Here Krishna talks about himself in a third person. So usually he says me, me, me. Here he says Lord. You know, I'm Lord. So when and that's he's talking about himself because he is a person. He has a human body. So when this Lord, when God takes on a human body, when God goes and becomes an avatar like Krishna, he has all the senses, and he really enjoys them. The God in the human flesh really savors each of his tastes and smells. All of his senses bring great delight, great delight to Krishna. And people who are ignorant, they kind of miss this godly feeling of enjoyment of nature. They don't. They miss the subtle bliss of existence. The blissfulness is just so real. It's beyond pain or pleasure. It is pleasurable, I would say. It's not like pleasure, not like sensory pleasure. It's more like breathe in the air. Feels good, yeah? Breathe it out. Feels good to breathe, doesn't it? But is it pleasurable to breathe? I don't know, man. It can be. It can be that pleasurable, but just breathe. That's what's it like to be. This is all we know. To breathe. But people who know, they see that. They see that. Men of discipline who strive see him present within themselves. But without self-mastery and reason, even those who strive fail to see. So people who practice meditation, awareness, mastery of mind, constancy, they see God inside themselves. They take pleasure and they exist in a blissful state. But not always. It all really depends on how in control of themselves they are, how mastered their consciousness they have, and how intelligent they are, how well their mind works. And hey, I'm telling you one thing: a mind is a machine that can be fixed, it can be broken, it can be expanded, it can be pushed to its limits, visual limits. There's so much you can do. Like me, I know very little, but I know that in relatively 5 years since I started to meditate, I changed so much. I became a different person. My mind operates on a different level. And I'm still the same old chilly chill. So, Krishna says this: know that my brilliance, flaming in the sun, in the moon, and in fire, illuminates this whole universe. So, he tells us to know that everything comes out of God. Everything goes into God. Everything is God. And God is in everything. And it is this holiness, is the sacredness, is the Buddha-ness which makes existence exist. It makes our senses be aware. It gives us motion, and it gives us peace. Action and no action. This all comes from the same source. It is all of the same. I penetrate the earth and sustain creatures by my strength, becoming Soma, the liquid of moonlight. I nurture all healing herbs. So, Krishna here says that he, or God here says, God, Krishna, He is He is the health in herbs. He is the dirt in earth. He is the elixir of life that gives health. He is possible and He is impossible. Relative and absolute. This and that. And a bag of chips on top of that. I am the universal fire within this body of living beings. I work with the flow of vital breath to digest the foods that men consume. This Krishna guy, he sure likes to change subjects. But here he says that he is the source of chi. He's the source of prana. You know how we breathe energy, we have energy, we move with energy, we take. He is the source of that. He's the source of all that. He's the source of will, of yourself saying, me, look at me. It is Krishna talking. It's the universal fire within the body. And he's the energy that makes us work, move, and makes us internal organs do their things. Our heart beat blood, our stomachs digest food. I dwell deep in the heart of everyone. Memory, knowledge, and reasoning come from me. I am the object to be known through all sacred lore, and I am its knower, the creator of its final truth. In the heart of hearts, inside us all, in the essence, there is a spirit, the holiness. There is universal brotherhood and sisterhood. There is God. There is unity. That's what it is. God is unity. And all that we are aware of comes from that place, comes from God. In Native American tradition, it is commonly said to all my relations, to all my relatives. That's what it means. We're all related. That is the Great Spirit that encompasses all spirits. All spirits come from the Great Spirit. All eyes comes from the big eye. And this eye is not a real eye. It's the universal eye. It's the everything. Nothing. Me, you, him, all comes from the same. Total emptiness. And this emptiness, this suchness, is a thing to be known. If you want to go into this Buddhahood, this is what you gotta know. You can only know Buddha by Buddha. You can't know Buddha by not knowing Buddha, and the only Buddha to be known is inside your mind. And this Buddha, this God, is from is the source of everything. All your consciousness comes out of it. You create it. And it is the end of it too. It is it. It all comes from it. There is a double spirit of man in the world, transient and eternal. Transient in all creatures, eternal in the summit of existence. So here we have something that Buddhists called two truths. They're both true. They're both very, very real. Except one truth is, how you say, more real than the other. Because the less, they're both as real can get. Just one has, I would have to say, it has more space. Because one truth has to do with everything that exists. And the other truth has to do with everything that exists and everything that doesn't exist. So the latter one is a little more spacious because it doesn't have a limit, as that which doesn't exist is limitless, but that which does exist has a number. So that which does exist, it exists eternally. No matter can be created or disposed of. That's one of the laws of thermodynamics. And everything that exists in relation to everything else, and that's the law of relativity. So everything that exists is eternal and transient. But okay, other is the supreme spirit of man, called the Supreme Self, the immutable Lord who enters and sustains the three worlds. So this other spirit is the absolute. It's that which is not in relation to everything else. It is the source of all relations. It is what everything comes from and to what everything goes to. Since I transcend what is transient and I am higher than the eternal, I am known as the Supreme Spirit of Man. In the world and in sacred lore. So because Buddha is transient, it cannot be said this is what Buddha is. It's not relative to something else, it's transient. Buddha is bigger than eternity, bigger than big itself, you know? It's higher than eternal, he says. He is known as the Supreme Spirit. You know, there's this us and then there's the big us. Not big us, but there's bigger than self. Bigger. Something that's beyond the holistic notion of me and you. And that's the way it is in the world, ordinary existence, and in the books and the teachings of holiness. Whoever knows me without delusion as the Supreme Spirit of Man knows all there is, Arjuna. He devotes his whole being to me. So, whoever knows Krishna or Buddha without imagining what Krishna or Buddha is, but knows Krishna or Buddha directly within themselves, and knows and sees within the one's consciousness godliness, that person knows all there is. And knowing that, the person devotes all his essence, all his being, all everything that the person does to that, to God, to Buddha. Well, when you're Buddha, only thing you can do is be Buddha. Arjuna, thus I have taught this most secret tradition. Realizing it, one has understanding and his purpose is fulfilled. So this Krishna guy, he says that that's how he teaches. It's very secret, it's very holy. Once you get it, there's nothing else you need to do. And it's 5:45 now. My time up here is coming to an end. The next teachings is gonna be one that I really want to read. We're coming to the end of a book, and this is the 16th teaching. It's called The Divine and Demonic in Man. Then the 17th teaching is gonna be the 3 aspects of faith. And the last chapter, the 18th chapter, and it's the longest chapter, it's called The Wondrous Dialogue Concludes. I'm looking forward to these chapters, and I'll read them in a couple of weeks. In a few days, in a week or so, I'll be going down to Illinois, Rockport, Illinois, to be exact, for a Vipassana meditation retreat. It's a 10-day silent retreat that is arisen from Burmese tradition by this fella whose name is Goenka. He's a 90-something jolly old man. He's still doing good because he got all these people praying for him. Because that's what he said. At the end of the course, everybody watches a video, and he says, "Oh, please, after you're done, think good thoughts about everybody, and don't forget about me." So that's his course, and I'm gonna go up there and spend 10 lonely, glorious days sitting alone, looking at the floor, listening to ducks, feeling my body, thinking, listening to my mind, and taking nice walks around the park, getting glimpses at the girls, because we don't get to see girls up there until the 10th day, where it's still, on the 10th day they lift out the veil that separates men and women, and they still don't advise guys and girls to talk to each other, but we always do, or at least somebody needs to be brave enough and step on the other side. And I don't know, last time it was me. The time before that, I don't know, I think it just happened, because things happen naturally. They always do. The world is a very natural phenomenon. Everything just flows and flows and flows, and sometimes we try to control it and regulate it and move it one way or another in which way we want it to go, but it still goes the same way it always has. And sure, we can either we attempt to do something or we actually do it. And usually, in my experience, when things are being done, is when people who do them know what they're doing, or are in confidence. People who are confident and they do what needs to be done. That's how things change. Because a lot of times, like, look at politics. They got this big old thing, Obamacare, right? Though they were hoping to do this, they wanted to do that. They ignored all the warnings, and what happened out of it? I'm not sure what happened. Okay, I don't think it works, because a lot of people. It's a mess. It was a mess in the beginning, and still is a mess, and there's a lot of people fighting over it. But what good is fighting? People fight and fight and fight and argue and bitter and talk and talk and talk and attempt to do something that is impossible and never do anything productive. I say life is about being productive. We have to make this world into a better place by fighting with each other. That's impossible to do. Ken, come over here, man. I got 10 minutes. You want to be my guest?
I'm going right now. Mark's picking me up. He'll be here in 3-4 minutes.
Oh, picking up what?
We're going to the film.
What film?
Chris Thompson's film about the Jeffrey Dahmer film.
Oh, I want to come too.
Well, it starts at 7 o'clock. We're leaving early.
Oh, sure. I have to set up. No. I'll come with you. Where? UWM?
No, Oriental.
Oh, $10 to get in?
Yep. I'll be right down the street, man.
Okay, I'll probably go.
Okay.
Well, I got a class I might go. Gee, wait, do I want to go and hang out with my friends? Or do I want to go and meditate and go to school? Well, I've already been to school and I already done my 2.5 hours of meditation. I think I'll go and hang out with my friends and watch a movie about Jeffrey Dahmer by a local. Hey, you guys, have a blessed day and be excellent to each other. Namaste. Chill out of here.